You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Road Rants for Black and White Sports. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like, comment, share this bad boy out. Here we go, folks. So, as you know, a couple of days ago I did a video. Megan Rapinoe is retiring from competitive soccer. Thank God. To go on a nonstop, and I said this the other day, she's about to launch one of the biggest grifting tours I'm sure we've ever seen in the history of all grifts. And we know Megan Rapinoe is a part of that LGBTQ elemental P community, a lesbian. She's married or together with Sue Bird of the WNBA, formerly of the WNBA. She's since retired. And what we know about Megan Rapinoe is, well, she's got a bigger history as an activist, a radical activist, than she does. I mean, what do we know about her soccer? It's funny how that worked out with her soccer career in WNBA stars, where we really don't know anything about their basketball because they're so radical and they're so unhinged that it's their political views that keep them in the news cycle. Nobody gives a rip about the soccer part or the basketball part. Well, a couple of years ago, Dave Chappelle, what I consider the GOAT of comedians, and look, Dave Chappelle's unapologetic. It doesn't matter the topic. He will go out there and absolutely cook whoever it is or whatever it is in hot-ass fish grease. He doesn't give a damn. And he knew before he made Sticks and Stones, before he made The Closer, which are a couple of the best stand-up specials we've ever seen, he knew he was going to take some backlash. And what was funny is he told a story about a transgender friend of his that ended up taking their life. And it's clear a lot of these people, I'm not even sure they watched the special with the way everybody became unhinged and got mad. Well, Megan Rapinoe has now attacked Dave Chappelle and is blaming him for violence on trans people. Look, we knew it would get loony as hell, and it has officially gotten loony as hell. And I have a feeling when it comes to her, the news cycle is just starting. It's just starting. In the same way that Colin Kaepernick gave nonstop news for about 2 years there, it's about to be Megan Rapinoe that's going absolutely bananas, and frankly, that's saying a lot because we didn't know she could get more bananas. It should be noted, by the way. She says, blames Dave Chappelle and comedy for violence against trans people. Guys, Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage by a member of the alphabet community. I mean, physically attacked. Now, his security beat the ever-loving shit out of him and got him off stage. But that's sort of an interesting take. Also, what happened in Nashville at the Christian school? What did we find out about that? Now, who's causing violence on whom? Question mark? Interesting. Megan Rapinoe unleashed a truly unhinged take on comedy, Dave Chappelle, and she brought in Sage Steele of ESPN, being responsible for problems for transgender people might encounter. Rapinoe will soon retire from soccer, thank God, and that will allow her to spend more time being a political activist, which seems to be her top priority in life. Guys, this was what was once considered a radical feminist that is a lesbian and has decided to absolutely sell out women everywhere so a biological swinging ass man, if you get my drift, can be welcomed in to women's sports and women locker rooms. By the way, Riley Gaines has already challenged her to a debate on Riley Gaines' podcast. We know Megan Rapinoe's not going to take that up. We know that. Now that she's on her way out the door, Rapinoe has decided to endorse men coming in and destroying women's sports. Interesting. Now she doesn't have to compete against them. Lord knows you would get destroyed because high school boys destroyed the U.S. women's national team, as did a bunch of washed up over the hill, like late 40-something Men's soccer players just recently destroyed them 12-0, 12-0. Come on. I mean, really. Quote, absolutely. You're taking a real woman's place. That's part of the argument. That's still extremely transphobic. I see trans women as real women. What you're saying automatically in the argument, you're sort of telling on yourself already, is that you don't believe these people are women. Okay. Therefore, they're taking the other spot. I don't feel that way, Rapinoe told Time when asked if she'd be okay with a biological man playing on the national team. Now, here's where she goes after Chappelle. While that was an absolutely insane thing to say, she didn't stop there. Megan Rapinoe, who has never passed on a chance to be a victim, thanks Dave Chappelle cracking jokes, Sage Steele standing up for women, and tennis legend Martina Navratilova being against men dominating women leads to problems for the trans community. Quote, I don't want to mince words about it. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to violence. Stop that. Whether it's verbal or otherwise against trans people, when Martina or Sage or whoever are talking about this, people aren't hearing it just in the context of elite sports. They're saying, the rest of my life, this is how I'm going to treat trans people. Rapinoe told Time magazine when talking about Dave Chappelle, Sage Steele, and Martina Navratilova. You read that correctly. Dave Chappelle is the reason trans people have issues. If it wasn't for Dave Chappelle cracking jokes, it'd be sunshine and roses. If it weren't for Sage Steele, one of the nicest people in all of media supporting women's rights to play sports, trans people would have perfect lives. You've got to find yourself in good company if you're grouped in with Dave Chappelle, Sage Steele, and Martina Navratilova. Absolutely. And he does go on to talk about, and who is this? This is probably, it sounds kind of like Hookstead. It's a good article. Yeah. Hookstead goes on to talk about the fact that, yes, absolutely, canceling sports, or canceling not only women's sports, but canceling comedy, stand-up comedy, and the ability to say whatever you're choosing to say. Look, I hate to use this term because I hate it, safe space, but that was supposed to be the one place where anybody can talk about anything, was in a comedy special, stand-up comedy. That's what happens. Comedians roast everybody. And you know what? It's hilarious. It's funny. It is. For crying out loud. And by the way, Dave Chappelle's story about his transgender friend, it's a really good story. And these people have chosen to completely ignore that. It's crazy. Now, we know this caused a lot of blowback at Netflix when it happened. A bunch of woke Netflix employees walked out. It led the CEO to basically say, look, if you can't handle the fact that we're going to give a platform to everybody, then it's probably time you don't work for Netflix anymore. Because obviously, this is just a guess, but I'm guessing Dave Chappelle is one of the absolute biggest money makers that Netflix has. I mean, Sticks and Stones dropped, The Closer dropped. It stayed in the news cycle for months and months and months. Because it was daring. It was provocative. And he pushed the envelope. That's what great comedians did. George Carlin, Eddie Murphy back in the day, Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle. They push the envelope. They roast everybody. Nobody and no subject is off limits. And that's what makes them great. For crying out loud. What she's failing to realize, hey, how about an attack on free speech is what you're talking about right now, Megan Rapinoe. You want people to be forced to keep their mouths shut. Nobody's okay with that. Nobody's okay with that. At all. Oh, it's ridiculous. Blaming Sage Steele. I mean, one of the most beloved people in the sports media, one of the very few that ESPN still has left that anybody has any trust in as a sports media person. There's literally only like 12 of them on the planet at this point. Everybody else has become radically woke, radically insane. And here we got Megan Rapinoe running her mouth one more time. This is absurd. It truly is. Especially when you consider Dave Chappelle was the victim of an incident on stage. And he's the problem? Wow. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. I have a sneaking suspicion that this video will not stay monetized all that long. I can tell you right now because some of my Dave Chappelle videos around this subject have gotten nailed by this platform. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.